take a look at today's business headlines for more. Let's bring in Jen and the Money Men, Executive Vice President of the Commonwealth Foundation, Jennifer Stefano, with us. Business and markets analyst Seth Denson is here, and America's accountant, Professor Dan Geltrude, back with us this morning. Good morning to all. Great to have you on. Lot to get to and so little time, so let's get right into it. We'll start with the markets. Yesterday, the Dow and S&P 500 and the NASDAQ back in the black. The Dow up 406 points. The NASDAQ, huge day, 469 points. Nice day for the S&P 500 as well. Seth, to you on this first. Is this a good thing, a good way to start the month of February? I feel like this is getting overshadowed, of course, because of 7% inflation and high gas prices. Biden can't really go out there and talk about how good things are when he's dealing with that as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough message to go out and have to deliver, right? But I think this is a dip by Rob. I think the week ahead still has some volatility in it. A lot of it will depend on Friday's jobs report. I think that's what a lot of economists and investors are looking at. They've already lowered the expectation to 155,000 new jobs. So we'll see if they hit that mark. We might see. But you also still have organizations like Amazon and Alphabet put out their earnings this week. Those are two big tech and e-commerce companies. We'll see what that does.
Yeah, it could be a tough report on Friday. That's going to be the first real Omicron report that we've had so far, of course. All right, restaurant owners across the country say that if they don't get government aid, more government aid, they're going to have to close up shop permanently because they just can't find help. Jennifer, can these restaurants be saved? Or have people, think about it, 2 years, have they changed their habits permanently because of COVID and bad policies from our leaders?
Well, certainly bad policies have hurt businesses, particularly small businesses. And the federal government should first stop paying people not to work. Number two, they really do need to raise the retirement age on Social Security. The fact is, a lot of the workforce that left were baby boomers that are retiring. We need to increase that because life expectancy has increased. And third, create legal pathways for people to come to America more easily to work, and therefore creating more workers in the marketplace. That all would help these small businesses. But largely, the Biden administration has been very bad for American small businesses.
Yeah, and I think of 2 years, I think about just my own family, the way that we don't go to restaurants. We used to go to restaurants at least a couple days a week, or we'd go, you'd go have an appetizer and a drink, at the end of the day or something like that. People change their habits as a result of this virus and lockdowns. No one wants to spend $50 on a nice meal in New York, but eat in some weird wooden thing they made out on the street. All right, Dan, to you on this. A few weeks ago, a Starbucks up in Buffalo, New York, became the first to unionize. Now 54 in 19 states are trying to do the same thing. Dan, are unions coming back? Is this a good thing?
I don't see this as a sign that unions are making a comeback. However, I will tell you this. If the unions are successful at Starbucks, get ready for like a $10 or $12 cup of coffee. The unions, what they probably do what they most of the time do to consumers is end up increasing the cost of the product. So whatever costs there are in unionizing will get passed on, unfortunately.
Okay, I want to talk about this one. If you're on Facebook, if you're on the news feed, maybe you've seen this. I haven't played this yet, but the New York Times just bought this new game. It's really popular. It's called Wordle. It's going to remain free to play, and they're working right now to preserve win streaks that are already in place. Jennifer, what's Wordle? Have you played? Why is the New York Times spending so much money on things like this? Is this the future for the gray lady?
Yeah, laundry and Wordle, two things I do not do. So maybe Wordle, maybe. But look, I think the New York Times realized it has to probably create new revenue streams, and that this could be one conceivable way. But I saw in interviews that they don't really know how they'll monetize it. And instead, they're talking about expanding their brand and content from the New York Times and their other games into the Wordle audience, which is a very large one, as we know. Look, they've been slaying the word puzzle game since day one.
Right.
So that is a good and viable strategy for step one. But I think step two is, how do you leverage turning New York Times readers into Wordle players or Wordle players into New York Times?
So that's interesting. It brings the New York Times, the famous crossword puzzle, it brings it right into your phone. Seth, the New York Times is trying to buy The Athletic for something like $500 million. More and more companies are doing this because people aren't buying actual newspapers anymore. How do you see this playing out?
Listen, I agree, and I think that, as far as Jennifer stated earlier, I think they got to find new ways of generating revenue. People aren't buying newspapers. There's no ad sales. There's no subscription fees, all that. I've pretty much moved to everything electronic, so I'm getting it cheaper, so their production costs are down, so maybe that'll help. But as far as it goes, so I don't know about the Athletica buy. That could work. As far as Wordle, don't know, don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know anything about Wordle, but I'm not in it. It's like Candy Crushers years ago. Dan Geltrude, 5 seconds, quick question. Better to do your taxes early now or wait a little while?
Do it early now, especially if you're getting a refund, because the IRS is way behind already.
Typical, right? They want their money when they want it, but they don't give us our refunds when we need them. All right. Really enjoyed it, guys. Thank you so much. Jennifer Stefano, Seth Denson, Dan Geltrude, good to see you. We'll do it again tomorrow. All right.